Welcome. I'm Joe Masad, and this is the tip of the week. We're back to tip of the week because we have a lot more tips than when we did tip of the month. Today I'd like to go over with you something I think is very innovative and very easy to use, and especially for record taking. You can actually have a complete record while you're doing, for example, an implant of all of the torque and the speeds you use for each burr. Plus, this particular system, it runs off of an iPad, so it has a lot of applications which I think are extremely easy, user-friendly, and especially for the older dentists, you have to have something when it comes to computers really, friendly for us. So basically, we're now looking at this is a B&R handpiece, and of course I'd be all gloved up for surgery, and we're going to go through a program on the iPad. Now, basically, this is a unit that is self-contained, that is portable and mobile. You'll see the unit back here. This is basically the unit, and you see that I have an iPad basically just inside. Let me take the iPad out and I'll show you. This is the actual unit right here, and this is where your iPad sits, okay? It comes with a stand for saline, and you can actually go and download as a free app. If you look closely here, the iPad, I have an app. This is called iChiroPro, is basically a software that was developed, which actually has, for the majority of the implant manufacturers, it has all of the settings that you would ever need. Now, you may not need all of the settings. It'll have, the round burr all the way to the first twist drill, second drill, and so forth. If you're doing, for example, an immediate case where you're extracting teeth and placing the implant in at the same time, you may want to skip one or two of these, and you can do that very easily, but it actually gives you the manufacturer's recommendation for speed, torque. You have a way to now control the amount of water coming through the handpiece. And you're using, of course, with the bag, you're going to be using salines. Now, and once again, if you look closely over here, you'll see this is this area here. I'm going to pinch and unpinch, and this is just to let the water flow come through, okay? And you can speed that up. So if you take a look back on the iPad, once you've downloaded the application, which is free, it will actually go to a disclaimer, and you say okay on the disclaimer, okay? Now what I'd like to do, I want you to take a look at the different settings on here. So if I wanted to go, for example, let's go to operations data, if you can see this here, and this is patient demo. So I want to do a patient demo at this time, and I just tap patient demo. Now these screens, you can put a clear, thin piece of cellophane, so even when you have your hands on, you're not going to contaminate anything. Then you just take that cellophane off, throw it away, and put a new one on. You also can utilize the foot control specifically for forward, back, and the different torques, and even actually moving the computer by the way of the foot control. So if you don't want to actually go back and touch the iPad, you can go to the foot control, which there is a forward speed, and then there is in the center of the foot control, you're going to have an area that you can actually move onto burr number 2, burr number 3, burr number 4, burr number 5. You just continue going. And if you know in advance, you may want to go from burr number 1, or skip the round burr if you're in an open socket, and maybe go to the second reamer. You can actually start it at the second reamer and just program it right in a matter of seconds, okay? And then you can default back to the regular program. So it's very, very simple. So let's just take a look closely at the iPad here. And in this case, we've actually selected, now this is European numbers, but if you would take a look, this is probably tooth number maybe 14 and 16, and the European numbers has a little bit different. And if you closely look, this is the area that, for example, we're going to be doing 2 implants in, okay, as an example, okay? And you'll have the patient, patient's name. You actually will select the bone density, 1 through 4. You can put any notes you want. You can save this and then go forward, okay? So as we save, then data has been saved and we go forward, okay? So the very next thing we want to go is to operations. And I just want to show you this because when you are completed with the project, you can email exactly what happened when you use your handpiece. For example, it may say 39 newtons of force, of torque, but you only use 15 or 20. As you hit the bone and it gives you more resistance, the torque will turn up. When you get to the hollow space, it goes down. But it will actually tell you a reading by way of a graph. And there's a graph here, and then here's the number system here. And so this will actually tell you what you did with your round burr, your tapping, your unscrewing, your implant screwing in, and so forth. I think that's nice because we have a complete record, kind of like a pulse oximeter we used on a patient just the other day. We had blood pressure and we had pulse oximeter, and it gave us a readout. The disadvantage of that is a paper readout. This is all digital. So I think eventually in a pulse oximeters, we're going to have the same ability to do it digitally and just send that information right on. I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to email this information to the referring doctor or to whomever. So this record will have the patient's name, and you'll choose whatever implant system you're using. It will already have everything in for you to do, and then you just send it, okay? So let's just go on back. Now, let's say you may want to change the tooth, because this is just a demo here. You can go in and you can say, I want to do, for example, you want to do a cuspid area, you want to do a bicuspid area, so you could actually right on here just basically tell your computer exactly what teeth you're going to be using, or at least the areas of the teeth, be the area number 6, number 7, number 8, number 10, whatever, or it could be 23 through 24 on the bottom. So I think it's really simple to do that. Now let's go ahead and go to implant, okay? Now, this case, we have an Astrotech implant. Let's take a look at all the other different implant systems. We've got Astrotech Dental, we've got Biomet, we have Dentsply Freedent, we have Nobel, we have Straumann. So all of these are already in the program. So in this case, we happen to be using an Astrotech implant, okay? And we will just hit the start button. Now, if you don't want to touch this, once again, you can have cellophane over here. You'll have your gloves on. You begin and start, and it's going to now show you the round burr. So if we were not into the edentulous area, we were going to use a round burr. Their recommendations of Astrotech will be 1,500 as the RPM, and the maximum torque will be 35.3. That doesn't mean you're going to hit the 35.3, because if your bone is softer, you won't. So then well, basically, with the foot control, you can hit the orange piece on the foot control and watch what happens. Now I go to drill number 1. I didn't even touch that. So for the foot control, you can actually just put your foot on that, and there will be a little orange button, which is directly forward to the forward button. Okay, and then now you're going to have drill number 1, 1,500, and this is the recommendation, maximum of 35 newtons. And then you just continue on. So you can continue on. You can actually hit the forward button here. Now you're at drill 2. You go from drill 2, drill 3, and let's say I didn't want drill 2, okay? You can actually, or didn't want drill 3, just turn it off. So you could actually turn anything off you want in advance. If you know you're not going to use it, then you don't have to fool with it during the surgery. So it's very simple to do that. So we're going to go on, and now we're at number 5, and you notice we're still at the same. We won't hit our maximum torque until you sense it in the bone. Then it will actually do that. And then we just go on to tapping. Now all of a sudden we go down to 20 RPMs, and we're going to now tap. From tapping, we then go to tap unscrew. So once again, now you've actually switched to 15 RPMs, 42 newtons, and then you go to implant placement, or actually delivering the implant in, and we're at 15 RPM with 35 maximum newtons. This can be changed. Now, if you take a look here, this is the amount of water you're going to come through. So if you want more water to come through, you can hit this. If you want the fiber optics to be brighter, you will actually preset this. So you either have a much brighter fiber optic here, or you have more water coming out. So it's very simple to basically preset this according to what is best for you. Now you're basically completed with this, and now you can take a look at all your information. So it's very simple to just go forward and take all this data, and now you can email it once you've completed your case. Now, if you're doing 5 and 6 implants, it'll do implant 1, implant 2, implant 3. So each implant as you begin, it'll actually take it off the board. So when you get to number 23, when you complete that, then you go to tooth number 24, whichever implant you're going to be using. Now, let's take all this information and I want to store it. Once again, I go to operation and it's stored whatever I have done. And it also gives it to you in 2 different fashions. Okay, so I just hit this a few times for demonstration purposes, but virtually now you take this and say, well, I'd like to go ahead and save this information, and then I want to email this to myself. You can go to operations data, hit your demo, you begin procedure, and when all the information is completed, look at this, you just basically email the information, patient's name, and all the information on the implant. Now, another interesting thing here, all the times we always lose these manuals. Anytime we have instruction manuals, where do they go? Or if they updated things. Well, in this, you can actually go to information. Information will give you, for example, latest news. So as you're looking at this, it'll actually tell you if there's any updates, what's the news, what's coming out about this particular handpiece, or was maybe there a recall on something, which I doubt. Let's say there was. Well, you would actually find out here. So you want to go back, and how about the manual? There's your manual right there. So your manual is always online, always being updated, and as you get updates, it will then be able to send them to you, okay? So let's go down to the next one. I think this is probably one of the finest ones, your web TV here. For example, let's say I'm going to be doing a surgery, and I want to share this, with B&R. I can actually put this on and show you a particular surgery that we did utilizing this. Or you can go to different things on here. Okay, for example, we want to go into the little B&R here. This will then go over the aspects of a different unit, for example. You may want another unit, for example. They can show you all the different offerings they have. So you get the latest, you get your information, instructions for use, and all this is digital and can be sent wherever you want. I think this is very intuitively easy for any of us to do. So regardless of only doing implants, you could even do all of your other procedures with this. You could do your crown and bridge and everything. It's not just for implants only. It's computerized for crown preps, composites, whatever you want. The only disadvantage is there's only one handpiece, and if you want to work with multiple handpieces, then I would go to the system like you generally have in your office, where you have multiple different handpieces to be able to use. Well, listen, I enjoyed having you with me today, and I hope my joys in dentistry will be yours. And once again, this is Joe Masada, and this was the Tip of the Week. Thank you.